This episode of Speakers of Eidolon is made possible by our generous patrons. Special thanks to our Supreme and Master Speakers, Omejicat Comet, Erisu Yamakawa, Circa Barrackeel, Remy Asalia, Arcadia Lunashine, Alex Franco AV, Winebow Brood, Psyche, Asuta Starbreeze, Cletus Oreo, Nina Grimstarter, Nat Clay, Lily Black, Bob Cece, Micta Rabentau, Sapa Chakwatol, Edwin, Umbral Wind, Quick Levin, Pamela Isley, Camille Grino, Elenriel Maximus, Codrith Novelist, Mira Mary, Bay Barbalay, Suno Chicano, Celestao Notrell, Lazy Boy, Abaga Dragonite, Luke Osborne, Pandaloo Storm Arrow, Tex, Yowie Wowie, Kylin, Chibi Duo, AJ Brainswordson, Anathos Moonscar, Arthur Law, and Biridan Derard. Support the show and become a patron today at patreon.com/speakersxiv. Thank you.
This is Speakers of Eidolon.
Good evening, Ayorcians. Welcome to Speakers of Eidolon, episode 270. I'm Lakeel Bravestone, and I'm joined today by Georgi Wiston, Mela Vanadar, and Rollo Dez. Hello. Today is October the 23rd, 2021, and today's top stories, we'll continue reading interviews from the media tour, the ones that we couldn't cover last week, and we'll look through the Endwalker special site that has popped up. It has popped up. So, and there's some good shit in there. There's some good shit. We'll also possibly, oh god, we'll be reading MogMail, speakersxiv.com/MogMail.
Don't say it like that.
Sorry, I just realized I don't think we have any MogMail actually loaded into the chamber. But we'll read MogMail. All right, let's jump into recent events. And in our first story, Final Fantasy XIV has been nominated for the Best Game Community and our favorite Still Playing awards.
We're still here. We've always been here.
At the Golden Joysticks 2021. So make sure you go vote. We actually have a chance to win this time. I feel like all the other times I've never had faith because I'm like, 14 is kind of like the game that no one's really talking about other than the 14 community. But, you know, shit's happened this year. I'm swearing a lot today. Stuff has happened today. I'm going to rein myself in here. Stuff has happened this year, so we have a bigger chance of actually winning today. Sorry, this year. I don't know what happened. The moment the intro went off, it felt like nothing was ready, and I'm very I'm going through it in my mind right now.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, that's that. I don't think there's anything to say. There is actually Golden Joysticks was weird because there were like categories for where games that aren't even out yet were like nominated.
It usually goes. They have like most hyped game, best trailer.
No.
It was like best strategy game.
Yeah.
There were games that weren't out yet that were in categories that you could vote on now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, was there? Oh.
Yeah, that was weird. So someone probably paid for that.
Elden Ring, best game ever. Yes, game of the year already out.
I think Elden Ring was actually put in the most hyped or something category.
Yeah.
So. All right. The other story, of course, is that the Endwalker special site is up. I guess we'll just go look at that.
Updated.
Sorry, it's been updated. Yeah, but it had like nothing on it other than the, coming November, big moon. All right. Let's see. Here we go. Right. So the new stuff that we have is related to story. So a new story. Endwalker brings the tale of Hydaelyn and Zodiac to a conclusion, eons in the making. To unravel its mysteries and conquer its challenges will be no common feat. May these records of key figures, looming adversaries, and lands yet untraveled serve you well. So there's a little bit of a blurb here for Endwalker. Yet shadowed by their triumph in the... I think this was already somewhere, I think.
I only things with a little green dot.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, so we've seen all this shit.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. New trials. Anima. Encased in an otherworldly carapace and bound with thick chain, this abomination is agony made flesh. Within its hollow eyes burns a baleful light as its jagged maw hangs wide, belching forth searing flame. Sounds violent.
That's pretty sweet.
Jagged Maw. Is that like that woman we just saw?
We can't. Okay. Yes, that's Anima. That's trial number 1. I feel like this is a bit of a weird thing to put there because we now know that we're unless they return as a trial.
Oh, they definitely they wouldn't just make him a dungeon boss.
Yeah, I hope so.
Very, very possibly. There's at least 2 dungeons that take place in Thavnir.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
we are
believe
coming
they
back
all
at some
fuse or something and become like a hot wind lady or something.
Oh, like Elfin and I'll say at the end of the level.
Mega
69
sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we say that it's this again? The Magus or Magus? Magus? The Magus sisters.
Whatever.
A trinity of gods long revered by the people of Thavnir. Sindurava, the eldest, is said to be the bearer of wisdom, Sandurava, that of prosperity, and Mindurava, the youngest, ingenuity.
Who gave that kid knives? That's a fucking baby with just knives.
Yeah.
It's a lullaby.
It's a lullaby.
Yeah.
No, it's a baby.
Okay. So that's that. So those are the 2 trials that we've already seen the stuff for that. Okay. Wait. Yeah, this is new. As the stakes rise higher and higher, adventurers face peril at every turn. Prepare for adversity throughout a host of challenging new dungeons, raids, and more. This is new challenges. New Alliance raid. Myths of the Realm.
Wow.
Since time immemorial, a pantheon of gods known as the 12 has presided over the land of Eorzea. Faith in these divine beings permeates all facets of life, and its influence is present in the practice of every craft, the heritage of each clan, and the customs of villages and nations across the realm. Now the quest begins to discover how their tale began, and perhaps how it shall end. That's very ominous.
Time to kill the 12.
Let's kill the 12, I guess.
I mean, we're destroying Hydaelyn and Zodiac. We have to destroy all the gods.
So there's something about that that's very makes me wonder, because the 12, we've talked about how they are like unable to change things that are constant in the world. If we're to destroy the 12, it changes a lot of things, I feel like. That's like one of the core things of the world. We have a huge...
We don't know
when you marry like with your like deity showing up on your side of the like altar.
Mm-hmm.
Suspect that if we destroy them, it will be something akin to what happened in
no one knows
Binding Coil of Bahamut, where no one knows but us.
That's true, but we'll know though, so it'll be weird when we like if you get eternally bonded afterwards, like, oh yeah,
have we
that guy that I killed will represent me.
It's not like we've been going around telling everyone, hey, Hydaelyn's a primal, don't believe in her anymore.
Well, that's true. Well, we haven't really fought Hydaelyn either.
We do go around telling people, hey, there's another dimension.
Yeah.
It's just like every time you do your job quest at level 80, they're like, yeah, so I did this. And they're like, wow, that's fucked up. That's real? What?
Yeah. Well, obviously, we don't know if we're going to kill them, but it's going to be interesting if we do. because the whole eternal bonding storyline is tied very deeply to the 12. So is like the
I'd say A Realm Reborn is
A Realm
fairly tied to
Reborn
the 12.
as well. Yeah, Louis Soir was like he loved the 12. So yeah, that's a lot of stuff on the line here for that.
But imagine if he knew that they were never real,
and
he was.
I feel
he
like
knew the truth. He knew more about the truth of primals than he ever let on.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, you'll note that one of them out of the 12 there is quite a lot more prominent than the rest of them. Oshon up there, nice and bright. A lot of them are obscured by text. There's just Byrogot.
Just
Oshon
ignoring the ones that aren't covered by the text.
They're like
of
shrouded in
course.
a bit of mist as well.
Yeah. There's a little bit
Like
of mist.
the one on the top right.
Yeah, like Ralgar.
Ralgar, yeah. You can barely see him.
Nald.
Yeah.
So it's just Byrogot and Oshon, really.
Okay, we're not going to argue who's this doesn't mean anything. Mela just really wants the Oshon theory.
This matters. Who was put there, okay? Who's more prominent?
Yeah.
It's determined by the order of the year.
Yeah. Well, so if we're gonna fight the 12, it might. Yeah, I think chat is also bringing it up, but it's like it's probably not the 12 we're fighting. There might be like representations of the 12, or
Yeah.
Well, it says we're going to discover how their tale began, so we'll see what they really are.
Maybe they're like
More
stuck.
travel. That's what this game needs more
what
of.
the future is.
Because currently in the world, the only thing we know about the 12 is like that they just disappeared one day. Like they were gone.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's something they need help with for their story to come to an end.
Do we even know that?
No.
Like how much of
It's
that
a myth.
is true?
So I mean, yeah, myths of the realm.
It's a myth of the realm.
Yeah.
There you are.
Okay, so Pandemonium for the new high-end raid. That was the 24-man Alliance raid. New high-end raid, Pandemonium. Which, I will always be fucked by this. Far beneath that is the letter A-E. Far beneath the ground upon which mortals tread, steeped in darkness, deep as starless night, ancient power lies dormant, too hungry, too brutal, too monstrous. What cannot be controlled must be contained. Here in the Pandemonium, dare you make the descent.
That's so vague.
We don't really have anything on
This one's big hype, though.
We live in a society. That's what they said.
Yeah.
Having just completed 2,
Mm-hmm.
this one is going to be interesting to see how close it is. Because the one in 9 spelt Pandemonium with a D-E. So it's spelt differently.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the one in 2 spelled in this
The one in 12 did not. It did.
No, the one in 12 didn't. So there's possibly something between them.
But Mela,
What about the one in
Pandemonium in
8?
12 is or the one in 8 with the
The
disgusting
elephant thing.
sack on the back. Yeah.
It says far beneath the ground, though, and that's kind of what Pandemonium 2 is hell, essentially.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would like to see Beelzebub modelled in 14 more than anything.
That would be very cool.
Yeah.
But
Like a big gnat. That's what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
Big bug.
I feel like they're probably going to make, like what we discussed then was that Pandemonium is kind of unique looking in every version it's in, even the spelling of it apparently. So it's more likely that they're going to try to make it more 14 centric, because isn't that also what they wanted?
Both of these are 14 storyline,
Yeah.
really.
So there's probably going to be
seen-
cameos. Maybe Beelzebub's going to be there.
The one in 2 was made of like purple crystal,
Yeah,
and that's a big Ascian thing.
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a sort of mashup between.
I
the big
brought up
Pandemoniums.
11's Pandemonium Warden, and I was very hyped for that, but I was shot down when I proposed it. Chat.
Yeah.
So
Don't bring up 11.
that's why I didn't even want to bring it up. That it was also in 11.
No, you can bring it up. It's only Mela that and he's like vicious anti-11 crusade.
Yeah. Okay, so there's that's that, and then there's the new dungeons, which the first one we've seen quite a lot of now.
The
Zot.
meat dungeon.
Yeah.
Tower
Tower of
Zot.
Zot.
Tower of Zot. Journey into perilous territory with your companions by your side and test your resolve against fearsome foes. You will need both courage and cunning if you are to avert the coming of the end. And the other one is from the other dungeon, which is also in I'm just realizing that we get 2 Thavnair dungeons.
Weird, isn't it?
Earlier.
Yeah.
I suspect this is the 85 dungeon, based on the other enemies that are in Thavnair.
Yeah.
And then I suspect the railway one is the 83 dungeon, and then the labyrinthos looking one, the one that has all the different biomes, is probably the 87 dungeon.
You can make out
Yeah.
in the background there's like a star shower going on.
Yeah.
So that's quite
Oh,
interesting.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But what that means, I don't know.
Maybe it's like that one scene in the trailer where it has like Vitra and Estinian fighting off all the.
Mm-hmm.
Devour's
the
come.
yes, that scene. Maybe it's reminiscent of that.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
I mean, I think it is, Rollo, because in that scene, you see that one temple thing with the dancers get destroyed. So,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that what?
yeah.
Okay.
Which I think is around this area.
Yeah. So,
Well.
yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Can we, I mean, I think we're not putting enough, like, emphasis on the fact that shit's gonna go, because that's in the trailer, right? That's happening. So
Yeah.
now we're seeing it here. We saw the floating city of Nim being in a similar predicament, which means this isn't isolated to just Thavnair. It is literally happening all over Hydaelyn. No. It's gonna be like, it's happening in Eorzea. The East is gonna be like, what's happening over there? I don't know. There's this weird tower though, but nothing's happening.
Feel the ground shake a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, is that? What is that? Okay. So that's the dungeons. Oh, sorry. There's also a little bit of there's a little bit about the new scale small scale PvP content. The perfect introduction to PvP, this brand new content brings the opportunity for casual players to participate in heart-pounding battles without role restrictions. For plentiful new rewards, jump right in and join the fray.
Whoa.
Wow.
But we'll probably find out soon.
Yes, that's right.
I'll try it.
Oh yeah.
This is all old stuff. Yeah, that's it. So that's on the special site for Endwalker. Make sure we've essentially told you what's on it, but if you want to look at it again, you go.
You go, girl.
You go,
do that.
girl. Go to that website. All right, so that's that. Let's move on. There will be changes to Scrips and Allagan Tomestones because we're at the end of the expansion. That means the Allagan Tomestones from this expansion are going away. Except for Poetics.
Poetics are here to
Ugly
stay forever.
tombstone.
I love
Ugly
poetics.
tombstone. I was talking to Lakiel about this.
Yeah.
It's an ugly tombstone.
It is an ugly
Classic
tombstone.
tombstone.
I like the Ronkin tomestones. Those were nice looking.
Oh yeah.
They had a unique shape.
I forgot about those.
Hexagonal ones.
Yeah.
No, it would be too
Now we're
jarring
back.
for new players. They won't be able to handle a hexagon straight away.
True. That's a bit much. Existing tomestones, so Allegory, Revelation, and Phantasmagoria will be unobtainable, and you will not be able to get them as of patch 6.0. Poetics, however, will remain, so don't worry about that. You will never get rid of Poetics.
If you have Phantasmagoria, you need to trade it in before 6.0.
Yes.
Please increase the poetics cap to like 10k.
No, Mela, you spend those poetics.
They can't do that, unfortunately, Mela, because they always tie certain relic resources.
Oh, that's
to
true,
poetic.
Yeah.
Well, just scale the price of those ones up.
Yeah. Right, so there you go. So you have to exchange them for Allagan Tomestones of... Oh, we're keeping... No, what? Where do
They're
you
just
go?
a really old one, so they have to get upgraded, and then the other ones will disappear in like 6.1 or 2.
Okay, right. So there will be, I'm assuming, someone who will appear after 6.0 whom you can transfer your old Tomestones to and get the new ones.
Someone that you can. No, it'll be the same NPC you always talk to in Mordona
Oriana.
and only Mordona.
Yeah, Oriana.
Always her for some reason.
Yeah. All right. So
They don't have a job, Rollo.
So for crafters and gatherers, white scripts will remain. So that's fine. But yellow scripts and red scripts will become unobtainable and unavailable for exchange starting 6.0.
Hopefully,
What?
you've long since gotten rid of your red scripts since they were
Oh,
made
God.
obsolete at
Yeah.
the start of 5.0. But if you haven't, you have until 6.0 to
Yeah.
get rid of them.
What colour will the new Tomestones and scripts be?
Remember blue?
Blue scripts were classic. They were
Oh.
good.
You can
And
still
wasn't they
buy-
green?
No, they were blue. What? Green?
No, there's
that
only
been-
blue.
So,
Oh.
the
There
weird
hasn't
thing is
been
that
green. Green is a potential color.
Green will be
you can
next
still
time.
get like blue script. What are they called? The things you
Tokens or something.
Oh,
Yeah, which you buy it with yellow scripts, which is funny. But yeah, there you go. White
I think,
scripts
Yeah, green
will-
or purple.
I mean,
the
you can still
scripts.
get like Rowena's tokens of poetics and, well, not even poetics, but of like of tomes we long since got rid of, like lore and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, true. Okay, so there you go. That's essentially that. Blue crafter scripts is actually listed in the notes. These script tokens
Yeah.
will no longer be obtainable from NPCs. Are they available from any NPCs right now?
I'm
Blue
aware.
Scraps as script tokens, I believe so.
Really? That's weird. Okay.
There's no place for them in the UI.
Yeah. So you
No,
won't...
script tokens, not the scripts themselves.
right.
Oh,
sorry,
these
yeah,
are the
yeah,
ones we
yeah.
talked about. Sorry,
They're
these
the
are
ones you
script
swap
tokens.
over for
Yeah.
folklore tomes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, those you will no longer be able to buy those from NPCs, and players will no longer be able to exchange these script tokens for equipment. After the release of patch 6.0, equipment currently obtained with blue crafter script tokens will be obtained with white crafter scripts.
Fair enough.
All right. The same thing for blue gatherer script tokens, essentially, and red crafters and gatherer script tokens will no longer be able to exchange for items. Okay. That's that.
Oh,
so
you didn't even talk about the part to do with Goblin Cup and Dice, because everyone remembers what those were for.
God,
I couldn't even tell you.
no.
I don't think I've ever known.
I remember starting that and being like, ugh. I
Didn't
don't
that
know.
have something to do with that woman who now does the exchanges for upgraded gear? But then she doesn't do that
Yes, she
anymore, I don't
does.
think, anyway.
Well, she doesn't do that anymore, no.
No.
God. Yeah, that was old. Let's
know
not
what?
even think about it.
She's just there so you can get her triple triad cards. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all she's good for now.
Yeah, it was to upgrade the crafted Heavensward gear. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very annoying system. Okay, moving on. We have a date for the next live letter.
Oh,
Next 24-hour stream.
Yeah.
24 hours!
We have bad news for Europe. But the letter from the producer live part 67
7.
is set for November 6th. So they'll be announcing new information regarding crafters and gatherers, system-related updates, the new PvP, and other updates coming in Endwalker. So I'm sorry to say, Europe, that is at 2 a.m. GMT on Saturday, November 6th. That's 3 a.m. BST, 4 a.m. Central European Time. Shut up!
8 p.m. Eastern. So I'll be
Brother.
cruising.
I
I
mean,
just got off work. I'm good. Well, I won't get strep throat this time.
It's fine for me as well, but I accompany Lakil for the extent of this stream anyway, so
Yeah.
I'm still tired.
Yeah.
Listen, when it's bad for Europe, it's good for me usually, and usually it's bad for me.
That's true.
Yeah,
It's
true.
almost never. It's never bad for me.
That's
I'll say that.
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Remember that would have gone through daylight savings before then, although it does display in GMT. Just bear that in mind. Europeans.
Oh, true. So it's 2 a.m. GMT, 3 a.m. Central Europe. So,
Yeah.
Oh, this is after daylights. Oh, I don't want to think about this anymore.
so if it's
Just-
3
it's
a.m.
worth
for me,
just
then it's
mentioning.
9 for you, Rollo.
Yeah,
Because
something
we're
like that. I don't
6
know.
hours.
We won't have to think about it for another 6 months after 2
True.
weeks from now.
That's true. So there we go. Sorry, that's a correction. That's 2 a.m. GMT. That's what the UK will be using. And 3 a.m. for Central Europe. Okay. That's that. What do you want to see from this other than... Do you think we're going to see the trailer for the story? The launch
Yes.
trailer?
That's
Oh,
all
yeah.
I'd really
Yeah,
be
this-
interested in.
This
The
is when they
main
would
part.
show it.
Yeah.
I need something to open the stream with.
Yeah, that's true. And this is probably the last live letter before launch.
Yeah,
It's
it'd be
November
like
6th, and early access is the 19th. So,
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
not going to be anything in between. This is the last one.
yeah. So this is really the only
Yeah.
chance they have to show
Yeah.
it off.
There'll either be a trailer here or there won't be a trailer.
Right. That would be
Yeah.
weird, wouldn't it?
The PvP, I'm intrigued about because they're keeping that pretty stum for some reason.
Yeah.
And I
Oh.
suppose crafter and gather updates, although I feel like I know roughly how they're going to play. It's just going to be without HQ. Going to probably play fairly similarly still.
No, we're
Yeah.
We're gonna have another complete remake of the crafter system like they did in 5.1.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you, I have so many like grayed out crafting skills on my hotbars from like heaven's word,
Oh my
if I'm being honest, because they just changed so much. I'm like, I can't keep track of these skills anymore. I'm just putting in the macro.
This boy still got a whistle while you work on his bar.
I do. I still have this I work on the bar.
God.
Man, crafting is in a very good spot, but the gathering changes are fantastic because it's
Oh,
so easy
yeah.
to do
New UI?
collectibles now. It's
Yeah.
really
Wow.
they've nailed that. So they
I
don't
am
need to do much.
so not used to the quick gather thing because every time you like switch,
I love quick.
because sometimes if you wait for like timed nodes, you will be like switching to another class or something, and then maybe you do some other gathering on the side. Quick gather unchecks if you've been like doing collectibles, I think, and I'll just be sitting there doing the old timey like clicking thing, and then I've realized when it's time to go get the collectible, there's a new button for that. Well, I can't use that when I quick gather. That is it's so good though when you have quick gather. It's like cheating. Feels like you're cheating.
it does feel a little bit like that.
Yeah.
It feels great though. Like I'm just like, ooh, let me get all these coffee beans. Ooh.
You think I'd have got the Skysung hatchet without just mentally AFKing and going in a circle with quick gather? No. I don't click 4 times per node.
Yeah. Right. So there you go. I don't know what else there is to, because they're not going to show anything of Island Sanctuary, even though as much as I want
No, that's like point
anything
one.
about it.
I think they might talk about the Heaven on High or Deep Dungeon equivalent here.
We're not having a deep dungeon. They already said that.
Roll
They
up.
already
today.
fuck, that was right.
We're going to talk about it today. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. That's going to be a bit of a discussion, I feel.
bring it back. I want it.
Yeah.
I missed having one
I'm with
expansion
you.
without it made me sad.
Yeah.
I'm
You're
with you.
going to level through the exploratory forays, and that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll talk about an exploration foray in here too.
Uh-huh.
No,
I
mind.
don't see that happening.
Well, they announced like
Yeah.
It would need to be an
even
irrelevant story. Though.
Even though we're going for Endwalker, at least how I remember, maybe I'm thinking about Stormblood, but they definitely
Eureka
have to.
was
Yeah,
super early.
that's true. Eureka was teased.
See, that's why I think they don't want to talk about it yet.
But they know this time. They got it down. They know what the foray is supposed to be. So maybe they can get out a little bit quicker this time.
Yeah. All right, we'll see. We'll see what they do. And if they're doing that, then Island Sanctuary should also be like at least teased. I just don't know how far in. I have a feeling they're not really that far into development of it yet, which is why they're not talking about it that much. Because if they had anything, they would have at least told us something. It's very vague so far. All right, let's jump into the interviews that we didn't do last week.
These are mostly text interviews.
Yes, they are. Okay, well, should we start with... I see that you've marked stuff. I'm assuming that's because that's stuff we have to get through. So we'll start with a Massively OP. If you're watching, on-demand link will be in the description. This is from Massively OP. Is this a video interview? Or is this...
No, I
Okay.
just summarized it.
All right. So these are some bullet points from that interview. People felt that Scholar had been underserved, but Yoshi P states that this is not intentional and he wants people to get a hands-on impression with them before judgment. The battle team has hardcore endgame Scholar players, so they are not being neglected. How do you feel about that, Georgi?
I want to
They
meet
know
those
what they're
scholars.
doing.
I want.
I know what they're doing.
I want to know what they're thinking as like they play this and like, oh, you know what? This is fine.
This feels
this
feels
is-
good.
This is great. I love it.
This is what we want.
I want to know what they want. I want to know where the disconnect is
Yeah.
between the player base and the development team.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to start using your abilities correctly, Gyoki, but you're all going against the grain and saying, these don't line up. My class doesn't feel right.
I think they. I don't know. It's just bizarre. Like I don't know. Just once it comes out, then we can complain and say Scholar isn't
Yeah.
very fun to play, but the numbers are good. Don't touch the numbers.
Right.
Those are fine.
Yeah.
It may end up being fine, just not playing as you want it to play.
Yeah.
I will wait to experience it, but from what I have seen, there is probably 2 or 3 additions, and I don't see them affecting the basic rotation.
No. All right. Reaper felt very complex for people at the media tour. Yoshi P says this is partially due to being thrown in at the deep end of a new job, but that Reaper is technically complex and up there with Ninja. They feel that the more you play the job and begin to master it, the greater satisfaction you'll get. They considered making it easier, but felt it was better this way. This is kind of what we've already touched on. I think we all talked about it last week during the video interviews, but also when we just looking at the skills that we did in episode 268, there's a lot to look at. the 2 bars and the getting possessed part. Yeah.
It's nice to have a
always-
job with a bit of a ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
it's always confusing when you're looking at skills on just those giant images where there's no synergy or order to where everything is placed, so you don't necessarily know how it all fit together on your own hotbar.
Right.
Absolutely. Even when you unlock a new job and because now you can see all the future skills,
Yeah.
you've still got no idea how it should fit together and how you should set your hotbar up until you've just messed around with it.
Yeah. Okay. Job changes are made usually when the current rotation is confusing or unpleasant, but also due to technical limitations, such as with Summoner. What?
Unpleasant.
That's what it's
I know a job.
Yeah.
I know a job with an unpleasant current rotation.
He also notes that how Ninja's mudras were handled programming-wise was completely changed in Shadowbringers. Yeah?
Yeah, the underlying code was completely overhauled for Ninja and Shadowbringers.
Yeah, it's true.
I hope that felt good,
That's.
ninjas.
Hope you enjoyed that, Ninja. Was that good for you?
You're a former ninja, Rollo. Did it feel good?
Did you notice that it felt good, the mudras?
Yeah, because now you're really it feels so bad clipping. You shouldn't, but I don't know. Now you won't feel as guilty when it happens.
Okay.
Right. Okay, why is now the time to end the Highland Zodiac story? Well, Yoshi P loves long-running TV shows like Lost and The X-Files, and doesn't want to
taste.
doesn't want to run the risk of dragging it out, so the ending feels bad. Up through Stormblood, the team was worried that the game would be cancelled. But the reception of Heavensward meant they had the confidence that they would be able to resolve the storyline.
Yeah. They were apparently it was, the whole of
Stormblood.
A Realm Reborn was rough.
Yeah. A Realm Reborn. Yeah. We've heard before that wasn't Heavensward, like, they referred to it as like the swan song of 14 because they didn't think that it was going to go past that.
And in fairness, Heavensward was, although it was good, it was still small. Stormblood really picked this game up, even though it was a weird expansion. But then Shadowbringers even pushed it further, and now we've got the boom. But
yeah,
Heavensward was still, it felt pretty small as a game.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, Heavensward is a very self-contained story, and I think they went in that direction because they didn't know if they could afford to go in a more global direction without the promise of being able to conclude the storyline that way.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
I think it's a very safe story too, like a safe expansion in general. Like they didn't. I don't think there's anything too crazy or innovative in Heavensward. I mean, there's new stuff that are standards now, but I don't know.
It kind of makes me realize that is that why they chose to put like the Coil storyline separate so that could like run like not in the MSQ, so that they didn't have to do all this like to resolve that, because that is the greater storyline of Final Fantasy XIV, which they kind of left behind in A Realm Reborn and spun sort of a new story about like the reconstruction efforts after A Realm Reborn. I wonder if that's why, because they weren't confident that they could like continue on in like an expansion.
Probably true. It was only like a 2-year development cycle from Ruin to A Realm Reborn.
Yeah,
so.
That's true. Okay. Also, don't be worried about the dev team crunch. They have strict rules in place regarding overtime on a case-by-case basis and want to serve as an example to other Japanese studios.
That's good.
There you go.
I'm glad they're talking about it. That was a big conversation. I mean, it still is, but it was more in the limelight like a year or two ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's good.
I hear less cases of crunch coming out of Japanese studios, which I find is interesting when you compare it to with what you normally hear about Japanese work culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't there like a word for dying at work or something?
Yeah.
Or is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because most stories about crunch, and maybe it's because the companies are more transparent, seem to come out of Europe and America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's good that apparently they have to like... they have like a case-by-case overtime policy, and you have to really, push to work extra, and they want to really look after the employees. But they also have the like Soken and stuff, scenarios where he wanted to continue working.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking of Yoshi P and him talking about how he hasn't been getting any sleep.
Yeah, Yoshi P's pretty hard.
He doesn't care about himself.
No.
Yeah, because he doesn't answer to anyone but himself.
Yeah, but the employees, he looks after them.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the massively OP bit. So the subreddit. So this is... did they do this together? Or is this... I'm a little confused as to what this is.
So, for the way all of the spoken interviews were done in pairs. Like Larry and Ms. Tech were done together. Mr. Happy and the subreddit, which we're about to talk about, were done together.
Okay.
I don't know some of the other pairings, but those are the ones that I'm aware of.
Okay, so this is the subreddit and Mr. Happy's interview with Yoshida. And so there's some really interesting questions in here, actually. So let's start with that.
We don't have time for them all, unfortunately.
We do not. It's a very large interview. So link in the description. Are there any plans to streamline the downloading, installation, and purchasing of the game? Many new players have expressed difficulties with this process. We've talked about this before.
I wanted to talk about this question, yeah.
This is a real problem. So Naoki Yoshida says, so we are aware that a lot of players have flowed into Final Fantasy XIV, and we do acknowledge that there is a lot of feedback that players are frustrated before they can even get into the gameplay, that it is very much a hassle to get the game downloaded and whatnot. I have given instructions to my team, and we are looking into making improvements. But I'm afraid there are some elements that Square Enix as a company has implemented, and some of the restrictions that are associated with creating an account on the Square Enix side. There are elements that can be changed on the 14 side rather quickly versus elements that require more time, which are related to our corporate policies that need to be updated. And so I'm afraid the changes might not come in a large batch at one time. And before some information that was not required is now required due to certain updates to laws and rules that are associated with signing up for an account and whatnot, which I'm afraid will take some time to adjust and address. I have approached the company about this issue, and I do acknowledge that there has been feedback on this. We are looking at ways to streamline this as well as possible. So there's corporate spaghetti in the way here. That's interesting.
I wish we had to, for the two-factor authentication, we had to send them a fax requesting it, and then they had to send us our ODP code back.
That's just what they have to do internally. Maybe.
Yeah.
I love faxing.
I love faxing.
It's so funny that Japan is still so big on it.
Yeah.
I have to use a fax all the time at work. I hate that thing.
That's
no,
crazy.
we have unfortunately phased out that.
I've not seen a fax machine since I was a child.
No, I've seen a fax. I think we talked about this before, but I've seen a fax machine at like my GP. Like I've seen it at my doctor's office. I see it in the corner. It's like all yellowed. I'm like, the mythical machine.
Like you fax something and then you hear those sounds like, wow, I'm really being taken back to the past, huh?
Yeah. Okay, so that's not going to happen, but they have acknowledged it and they are working on it, so that's good. It shouldn't be this hard to download a game in 2021. It shouldn't even have been that hard in like 2013, to be honest. Okay.
Steam existed for many years before that.
Yes, it's true. Okay. In the Party Finder, you're supposed to be able to find content to do with other players, but at least in North America, it has become plagued with people looking to either sell content or to advertise services that are not normal in an MMO or in Final Fantasy XIV. Has the team taken notice of the use of the Party Finder for these kinds of actions, and is there anything that the team is planning as a countermeasure to those? So I don't know. I don't know exactly what are they talking about, like run sells and stuff. Like
people sell like uwu for real money or gil or whatever.
Yeah. Right. For a second, I'm like, ooh. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I thought when you said ooh, I was like, are you talking about like anime merchandise?
Yeah. Yes. We do find it an issue. This is Yoshi P's response. I think it stems from the user agreement being filled with loopholes, so to speak, and people do exploit those loopholes. In order to avoid such a situation, we are reviewing and aiming to update the user agreement, and with that in place, we will start trying to enforce this. I know some people might say, if it's a prominent problem and the developer/operations team already know about it, then why don't you already enforce it? And then you start penalizing these people, but without strong backup, which is a clearly stated user agreement. It is hard to enforce. And we do face retaliation from some of the players that we try to enforce these rules upon. So in order for us to have a stronger case to build up against these people, we do need to make sure our user agreement is buttoned up properly, so we are making preparations to update that to address it in that way. We are hoping that we can squeeze that in leading up to the launch of Endwalker, so we can start enforcing that right before Endwalker's launch. And I'm sure, Mr. Happy, that you will take this information and share it back to the community as well. And in your explanation, I'm sure you can phrase it in a way that would reach your community, that by updating our user agreement, we are not intending to limit or restrict our players. We are just making it more clear-cut for us to go after the players that are abusing the system, basically. If you feel that community members might misinterpret the intention behind us updating the user agreement, it would be great if you could help us in spreading the correct information. Well, I guess we're doing that too now. So
yes.
There you go.
Because people are always very wary when a EULA agreement changes.
Oh, yeah.
So they're trying to make it clear that the changes they're trying to make now are so that we don't see all those annoying Party Finder groups.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, like remember last time they changed the TOS and there was that big hullabaloo?
Oh, God.
It was like, the developers don't want you to even talk to anybody.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Nothing really.
Nothing happened.
Well, if you don't try and sell, runs for money, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so healers in Final Fantasy XIV often discuss how often they are casting DPS spells despite being healers. often nicknaming jobs like White Mage a Glare Mage as an example. The Mediator build has some new healing skills that also have damage components to them. Has the team taken any feedback from the players on improving interactivity with the healers, whether that be more interesting DPS skills or more prominent healing requirements? Yes, Yoshi P. Please, Yoshida says. So, I totally understand that those healers that have a very high player skill level and they've really mastered their jobs go into these different raids or battles, and when they do have some downtime between their heals, they do cast more offensive spells. Some of them desire to have more technical aspects of it, so they are more active, and I totally understand that sentiment. But of course, the basis of a healer is to heal. So I think the development team and I have this thinking of getting that sense of exhilaration from doing really good heal work.
I get what you're trying to say, Yoshi P.
Well,
what content gives you that feeling of doing really good exhilaration from doing really good heal work?
Okay,
sometimes when I get hit by something and I go to like 3 HP and then you benediction me and we're like, whoa, that was cool. That's about it. I can't imagine anything else being fun.
But the game's designed around damage is the thing. Like the best defense is literally just doing more damage.
Why?
Most of the times.
Mm-hmm.
Why have you added so many fucking healing spells to every other class then, Yoshi P? What the fuck are we gonna do? You gave us all these fancy new healing spells, but you literally did that to every class. Every fucking class has a healing spell. What am I gonna do? I'm just gonna do glare. Throw out a fucking bell every now and then. Look at my bell, everyone.
See, another problem is that like a lot of these healing spells exist for the highest end of content.
Mm-hmm.
Savage, to a certain extent extreme.
Yeah.
Ultimate. In most normal content, you don't need this many healing spells.
No.
You don't. Like, you can play Astrologian today, go into like an expert roulette. You don't have to touch neutral sect. You don't have to touch, like, celestial opposition. Like, why don't I give me another damage spell or two? Like, it's fine, we have those skills, but...
Okay, so what he's about to say is like my least... I hate this statement that he's about to make, because he always does this, but here we go. Mm-hmm. That being said, I don't think we would do any sort of dramatic addition of offensive skills moving forward. By having these offensive abilities, some players, like new healers, might feel pressured, like, oh, do I have to do good DPS while I'm healing? I'm just going to stop you right there, Yoshi P, and give you the answer. The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Okay, moving on. Or some players might be aggressive, like, oh, hey, do you have an offensive skill in your kit? Why don't you use it? And I don't think that's optimal either. That's just asshole players. They'll be, if not offensive, they'll be like, oh, do you have any healing skills in your kit? They can still do that.
With any job. In
Yeah.
fact, just recently... in my run, I did Trial Roulette and I got Shinryu. Yeah. And like there was a new summoner. Everyone died, right?
Right.
And he was a sprout summoner that was alive somehow in the tank in the second phase. And we're like, come on, summoner, you can res one of the healers, and then they'll LB3, and then we'll finish the fight because it's almost done. They just stood there. They just stood there, DPSing. Just like, I mean, I didn't say anything, but like, you can get upset over a lot of things in this game, and like be angry about it. Like, oh, you're not using your essential function or one of your toolkit things, which is resurrection.
The thing I don't get though is like new players. Yeah, you're new. You have to learn the job, and then you'll learn. Yeah, I'm supposed to heal and DPS. That's my job. Even if you do the White Mage quest, which I know is completely irrelevant because everything they teach you is wrong now, but they essentially say you can't just be healing. You also have to DPS, which is like level 5. That's when they're like, oh yeah, by the way.
Don't they tell you that in the Hall of the Novice too?
Yeah, they do. They do. So I don't understand, but this is what he was really getting at here. But of course, we do have the new job, SoH, which will allow for this unique gameplay where if you land an attack, it heals at the same time. Or if there's like a particular barrier ability that you cast, and once that's depleted, it increases the resource, which would lead to an attack, which is very unique. I think many players would be interested in trying that out for sure.
That's cool. What do I do about the other 3 healers?
Yeah.
In the game?
What about them?
Play Sage.
Oh, you know that's like he knows that if that became like permanent, we obviously after Endwalker, or maybe even before we're done with like all of Endwalker, like 6.x, Sage is going to get adjusted so that it'll be down to the level of the other healers.
Line.
Yeah.
Was there a dramatic increase in the amount of healers or people playing healers after Heavensward? Because I would say that is the peak of complexity for healers.
I think a lot of people tried out Ast.
Yeah, I feel like Astrologian got a lot of people. Yeah, because it was
They
it
were
was new.
tempted by the pretty glamour.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Heavensward was still complicated. I'm talking about
right.
Stormblood onward is when it got easier.
Yeah.
So like was from that point onwards, I should say, is that when there was an increase in healers? Have they had? I mean, they probably have the numbers, but we
probably
haven't seen
do.
it.
No.
I don't know. I feel like if I didn't like it if I jumped on and tried Astrologian and didn't like it, I wouldn't try it again in Stormblood, but I guess some people would have.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they're going to have to be really careful with Sage's damage numbers, because if it performs really well...
I mean, yeah, that will be the death sentence for the other healers in like high-end content.
It's going to be like half the DPS of the others at optimal play, because it can't.
Yeah,
really
I've been thinking about that a lot. Like, if they can put out that much DPS, what the fuck are you going to need all the other healers for? Imagine how good a double Sage heal party would be.
Well, so the heals that come from when the Sage attacks are actually slightly weaker than
yeah, but I'm assuming they can do it more. And they can do it more like rapidly. Like with spell speed down, they can probably throw out a lot more.
Yeah.
Well, we had
still pretty low.
Even at DPS,
your fairy heals at a certain rate. I feel like the heal rate would go up if you're a Sage and you have high spell speed. Remember, each time one of the attacks hit, you get healed, right? It depends on the skill, but we have yet to see it in that situation though, so we don't know yet.
Yeah, Chad is bringing up that Sage doesn't have any party utility, so
that's true.
That's appealing to raiders.
Like chain stratagem is like. It's basically like a free trick attack.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see when it comes out, but it's I just don't like the idea. New healers might not understand the job. You have made it into this job. You've changed the role into this. Just make it something else, and then they'll just learn. Everyone's a new healer. Everyone's a new DPS at some point. You have to learn your job. Mm-hmm. That's how it works. That's how everything works. You can't just be like, oh, we've removed enmity from tanks so they can be DPS, so new tanks won't be like, oh, I have to like control the dungeon and the pulls. Like, is that how we're going to start doing things? It's weird. Anyways, moving on. Many new players have expressed interest in learning more about the story of 1.0. Oh no, here we go.
Oh wow.
Are there any plans on ever bringing the story of 1.0 back in some form, such as through New Game Plus or supplemental content, such as books, short stories, or videos? Yoshida says, for our legacy players who started with 1.0 might know about this, but the story is kind of not complete. And it's kind of all over the place. Once I joined the team, the Grand Company quest is where I took the main story and explored it in that aspect. So you go to your different Grand Companies to find out more, and in the main story, you have this weird partner who just will just listen to you. And then Gaia suddenly appears, but the player isn't fighting him, but then the Scions are. It's such a weird story. I don't know if anyone would find it interesting, even if it was a book.
Bully the path.
He's laughing throughout this, by the way. If we take what was released in 1.0 literally, I don't think it would make for interesting reading material. So I think maybe it's better or quicker to have Oda-san write a novel explaining, oh, this is the story of 1.0. So, I mean, yeah, a novel might not be impossible. It's not as nightmarish as a classic server. I think it's a little unfair with the story, but it's, I mean, it is incomplete because the MSQ literally just went as far as like the original team took it, and then Yoshi P took over, and he's like, we're going somewhere else with this.
Yep.
So,
blow it up.
Yeah. So the story is sort of very abruptly ended.
I feel sorry for the people that bonded with their path companions.
Yeah. Rest in peace. Well, at least you kind of feel like. I mean, our path companions died in the calamity, and it kind of makes sense because in the last time you see them, they're walking off, and they're like, I'm gonna go, do my own thing during this, and then you never see them again.
I'm off to Othard.
Yeah,
It's safe there.
Yeah,
You're safe over there.
Yeah.
I wish there was like just a branch thrown for the 1.0 players for them. They've never been acknowledged.
I did. I was a little sad when I returned to Eorzea, and there was like no mention of them. Like they never existed. Well, yeah.
You know what? There's an unmarked grave somewhere players have yet to find, and that's where the path companion lays.
Yeah.
So go find it. Go no clip.
Yeah.
As sad as that is, I would love if there was something like that. Just like, even if it's something that like 2.0 players and onwards can't interact with, but like 1.0 players can at least get closure.
Yeah. What they wore like the that one chainmail armor or something, right? Just leave it strewn about somewhere.
Oh,
God, that's sad.
Maybe the 1.0 path companion went off, found a little island, and they started a small farmstead there. And unfortunately, they've passed away now, and it's been left to ruin. But you inherit it, and you get to fix it up.
I have a feeling. I also expected when there was a lot of like at the beginning of A Realm Reborn, there was actually a little bit of a like. The 1.0 players were like, oh, where's the path companion? It was just everyone's kind of just waiting for it to appear, and there was like a rumor that maybe it'll be one of the retainers. You'll get a retainer, and it'll be the path companion. Alas, it didn't happen, and I don't think they have the data for that anymore. I think that was lost, so I think that's why.
100%.
Yeah. Okay. Many skills in the game were adjusted to 60 or 120 second cooldowns for Endwalker. However, some skills do still have 90 second cooldowns. Why has the team left skills such as Ley Lines or Monk's new skill Riddle of Wind on the 90 second cooldowns instead of adjusting them to 60 or 120?
I thought this was an important question to include.
Yeah. Yoshida says, each of these, we've brought this up a lot, each of these have their own individual reasoning behind them. So let's look at the Monk, for example. If we were to align all of the abilities to either 120 seconds or 60 second cooldowns, it would get very, very, very busy. And in order to achieve that burst, you would have to be very busy. On the flip side, when you're not trying to build up to a burst, you're kind of bored because there's not really much happening. So there are certain abilities that are deliberately left at that 90-second recast timing. And to share a little bit more from behind the scenes in our decision making for Riddle of Wind, we actually tried it out, and you have haste on you, but it became just too quick. Like everything needed to move very quickly, so it was impossible to handle. So that's why we inserted that auto attack instead. And then for ley lines, you may be familiar with just how ley lines work. Your damage is increased while you're staying within the lines. If that is stretched out to a 120 second cooldown, then you wouldn't want to move out of the ley lines, and that will happen fairly frequently. So it might become stressful to the Black Mage because you either can't move or refuse to move. So that's why we kept it at 90 seconds. Now, on the flip side, when we considered trying to shorten that time, we thought that if we were to do that, we would have to change the effect of what ley lines do. But we don't feel like that's necessary at this time, so that's the reason we kept it at 90. And just having to stay still at 60-second intervals just seemed off. Yeah? Anything to say about that?
I think ley lines is, in honest truth, a bad ability. Because you're taking the most immobile class in the game and restricting it to a tiny section of the arena where if, let's say, a path like a line AoE comes on you and you have to move to the edge of your ley lines but still are in it, you still cancel the fire cast. You're still out on DPS.
Yeah.
Why don't you
Black Mage cannot move. Ever.
Why don't you slide cast like a pro, huh? Yoshi
P
does it.
I do slide cast sometimes, Frodo, but it's, you got to think about it. Like, triple cast becomes very important, and I don't know, Black Mages, it's a hard enough job already.
Yeah.
Just make ley lines last forever or something. At least,
It's just like a turret you place down, and you can move it around whenever.
Make it another trait.
Yeah.
Always under your feet.
Yeah.
God. Could you imagine if they make Monk faster? Because what it has like a 2-second GCD, which is
It would please
Well,
the wild.
yeah.
it's fairly
As they-
fast already for.
As they said, that's why they made Riddle of Wind only affect auto attacks, not actual skills.
Yeah.
I would really like that.
Still such a like. I'm sorry, that's so lame though. it's like a skill you press and then that's it. It just you do a
Oh
little
yeah, it
damage
doesn't
and you,
need to be there.
and you don't see it, so it's like you might as well. I mean, yeah, I get it. You can put it for Windows, like damage, like burst windows, but it's just a little like limp.
You're right.
Okay.
Absolutely right.
Yeah. We discussed about it actually. Even since 5.0, we were talking about ley lines. Well, can't we just make it so it follows the black mage, or can we add an ability that will allow the ley lines to slide with the black mage? But when that happens, how does it differ from having Enochian? And so that's the kind of discussion we had, and we felt that it didn't make sense.
Well,
There
you
we
made Enochian be like brain dead.
Yeah. And
It's-
now...
You
Now
can't
it's even
lose
less than
Enochian.
brain
Though.
Well, do you want ley
Yeah.
lines to be that as well?
I mean, it's I don't know. It's just I don't mean I like a complex job, but
Yeah.
ley lines is maybe make it slightly bigger, or maybe make it where between the lines pulls the ley lines to you rather than you to it, or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. That's the subreddit and Mr. Happy interview. I think we can do the MMORPG interview. So let's do that. Yoshi P understands that people want the new journey to the next level cap to feel like you're growing as a class and becoming that little bit more complex and nuanced, but states that this can't always be the case and that if you want variety, try out the other jobs, as that is why the armory system is made. He also knows that people who have played for ages might not want new people to catch up so easily, but it's better to let everyone get involved than fall into that sentiment.
Does someone actually care about that? Like, well,
Elitism.
I
Yeah.
got my jobs to 80. You should suffer like me.
I
Because
think
you want
it's
when you
very-
get to 90, you want a new trick to your job. There's a new thing you have to learn, but he can't. You know, that would be ridiculous at this point. He has to simplify things every now and then. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
I don't
think people
I don't
probably
understand.
feel like that about
I don't understand
new
the...
players.
It's a very boomer mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, all right, I climbed the top on the ladder, and I'm gonna kick the ladder away now.
Wait, I don't understand.
Yeah.
So what are the boomers not like that they?
People who have
They
been
don't
playing
like-
for ages will think, you know, you shouldn't be able to be as good as me at 90 because I've been playing for so long. I've mastered my job,
What?
and you shouldn't be able to catch up to that level of skill. Some people think like
It was
that.
more so leveling being easier.
Oh yeah, and leveling and stuff.
I mean, you can already buy the level skips.
Are we talking level
So-
skips,
Yeah.
or are we talking
Yeah.
like just
People don't
that-
like those either.
No, but that, I feel like
Yeah.
that's a separate issue, isn't it? Or is that part of it?
They just don't want people to catch up so easily. Some
Okay.
people do.
Because if
And he
people are
says that's
complaining
not a
that
good thing
leveling
to
is easier now than it was in 2014 or whatever, fuck you, Jesus Christ! You know how fucking tedious it was to level back then. You'd want it to be easier.
Yeah.
Why do you want
Let's
it to
fake
be
grinding
horrible?
Corthus. Come on.
Yeah.
Human nature to want people to suffer as much as you do.
So stupid.
I
That's
know.
just how it is.
Yeah. Okay. While there may be a return to job quests in the future, it's safe to say that the level 80 job quests were a conclusion to these story arcs. That
It didn't feel like it for a lot of them.
That's what he made a big point of it as well. He's saying these wrapped it up.
Yeah, that
I'm sad about that more than I
mine
know.
was left very open at the end.
Yeah. As a scholar, I can say, yeah, okay, I can see that as a conclusion. When I did the White Mage run, I was like, this
Yeah.
feels like it's implying things.
It felt like it was starting something new almost. So
Yeah. Red
That-
Mages does that as well. There's
Yeah.
quite a few jobs that have
Yeah.
very open-ended directions.
Have you guys
Gladiator.
done the Paladin one? That was a pretty.
Yeah, Paladin, sorry.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Paladin. Yeah.
That's a pretty like open and shut
I
one.
said Gladiator. I said, really? I thought it wasn't.
I mean, I don't know. You're so fucking strong, dude. I can never be that strong unless I have family. All right, I'm gonna
Family.
be at the guild.
Oh, family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, that was so those arcs. So there might be a return to job quests, but it seems like the old arcs are just gone. They're done now.
Yeah.
How I find it difficult to imagine them being able to justify returning to the job quests at
Oh,
some
but they're
point.
so good.
They're much better.
I do
agree.
miss
I,
that.
I do like the paladin one kind of acknowledges that like you're just a god at this point.
Yeah.
Where it's like you can't like fuck around with these mortals anymore.
No.
Like you'll kill them.
Yeah.
They have to teach you.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll get something new in the future. I do miss having like some lore, story
Yeah.
or job lore.
It doesn't need to be giving us new skills and stuff. But
No.
just more lore on the jobs.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we'll. Actually, no. Well, actually, never mind. We'll get nothing. My optimism's gone.
Wow, that was quick.
Yeah. Okay. In terms of pacing between patches, Yoshi P has no definitive answers and is not sure if they will have a 6.1 to 6.5 or maybe only until 6.3 before moving on to 7.0. He can't envision moving from the 3.5 month patch cycle to a 6-month one, but there may be 1 or 2 week variables added. So essentially, yeah.
He doesn't know how long the post Endwalker will be, but we can expect to continue onwards with the current system. But like, they might be out by a few weeks, but they're not going to like put it on life support mode of every 6 months or you know.
Right.
Only going to 6.3 is confusing because that would require a change to their alliance/normal raid release system.
Well,
That's true. He also mentioned it could go on like maybe all the way to 7 or whatever.
Yeah.
He just isn't sure exactly yet.
they might change how everything works. I still don't know how like big. I mean, the more we hear about Endwalker, the more different it sounds to like the other expansions we've gotten so far. So there might just be a just new patch schedule for everything. I don't know. Okay. Yoshi P is happy to have more MMOs coming out and also is hopeful the world will return to normal soon. He wants to thank the yeah, well, that was the thing that he definitely told everyone that he wanted to tank.
He wants to tank.
He wants to tank.
coronavirus.
He wants to tank now. He's done with Black Mage. He wants to thank the medical professionals worldwide and would love to get back out and go snowboarding.
Bless him.
Yeah.
Just
Well-
come to America. You can do whatever you want. It
Pretty
doesn't
sh-
matter.
Pretty sure
but
you
I
can
don't
go.
think he wants that degree of freedom.
I think you can go snowboarding. I think you could go snowboarding anyways. I mean, you don't have to.
Oh, he wanted like a year-long sabbatical to go snowboarding.
yeah.
Just someone send him a copy of Snowboard Kids on the N64, and that'll like keep him occupied.
Yeah.
Why would he want an NC? There's like,
Because
isn't there a
Snowboard Kid,
new EA game coming out? that's, like,
Snowboard
all
Kids
different
is a
sports?
good game.
it is Snowboard Kid fucks.
He wants SSX Tricky.
Yeah. Okay. We're probably gonna have to skip some now. So I think
That one. Don't need to do that one.
Okay. The enemy one maybe.
I don't know
The
what those
enemy one
ones
is
are.
the enemy one is very good. I don't know if we have time to cover it. Maybe just do the Venture Beat one.
Oh well, maybe the PlayStation blog one
Okay,
because it's short.
just pick.
I'm
pick one of
just
them and then
just
we can-
picking the short ones.
Then we'll need to cover something. We'll need to cover some of these later because a lot of them actually have quite
Yeah.
important
We've
information.
got a couple more
don't have
weeks. We'll
time
be
for
alright.
today.
We have 2 more weeks before live letter.
No, I think it's only one.
Or 1 week.
Oh yeah, 30th. We can do them next week and then live letters.
I mean, if we don't, then we just don't cover them. It's as easy as that. Then they're outdated, and we have other things to talk about.
true.
Our approach to this from PlayStation Blog. Our approach to designing new areas is a bit different for each expansion, explains Yoshida, before going on to clarify. In the case of Stormblood, for example, we had Alamigo as a location. This was a place that was already established in the lore in Final Fantasy XIV, so for a location like that, we didn't really have much freedom and leeway to incorporate our own ideas. What I did instead was think about the remaining areas that haven't been shown to the player yet. Endwalker is going to mark the end of the Hydaelyn and Zodiac saga. So for this expansion, we focused on the loose ends we have in the current story arc. Deciding on those aspects and creating the maps for the new areas go hand in hand, so in this respect, the process with Endwalker was a bit similar to what we did with Stormblood. There are some areas which we have not announced in Endwalker yet. He says areas.
Plural.
So there's plural here. I have no intention of announcing them until the game is released. I'm really excited for players to experience those regions themselves, and I'm sure they will be surprised with what they find.
Oh my god. 7 zone expansion.
I'm worried that he counts the zone in the sky, the city in the sky, as a zone that is technically unannounced because we don't have a name for it.
We'll see. Man, that would be brilliant.
I would love a 7 zone expansion. I'm not. I don't want to disappoint people, but
no,
I'm being pessimistic in this.
There's only 6 slots on the shared fate screen. Well, they
might
have
just put that in.
That could have been fuckery on their end if they really want to keep it secret. But
there could not be fates in that zone. It could be something else.
A zone without fates?
Oh,
How could you?
Yeah.
Don't ever say something like that.
We are very
maybe it's
stuck
a level
in
8 and 90 only.
We're very stuck in our ways where we don't expect them to ever break the mold, and then when they break the mold, we're like, oh. Anyways, it can happen, and it has happened in the past.
I will
many
remain
times.
quietly optimistic.
Yeah, but
I won't be.
It's still 14, so we also have to temper our expectations.
Don't be too optimistic.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. I think the last one we'll do is PSU.
I think you can do the PSU one.
Yeah. Is there plans to bring, or are there plans to bring Eureka/Bosnia style? No. Is there plans to bring Eureka/Bosnia style content to Endwalker? If so, what have you learned from the current versions to bring into the new one? Interesting. Yoshida says, the dev team is planning for weapon enhancements similar to Eureka and Bosnia, in which players can take their time to farm mats to obtain/grow a powerful weapon. That being said, it won't be exactly like Eureka or Bosnia. There will be a different nuance the team will bring into future content. The devs are aware that certain players don't necessarily participate in raid content, and so they do want to offer content or alternative avenues that players can enjoy without necessarily doing raid content, while still being able to obtain a powerful weapon in the process. See, that is such a...
But they already know that.
That is such a contradictory thing to say, because what are you going to use your powerful weapon on if you don't?
They're never powerful, Lukiel.
Remember,
That's
Lukiel,
true.
Also remember this, Lukiel. There are people that struggle through the single player campaign. They need all the help they can get.
No, be nice.
I am being nice. These are the people that complain when they have to do single player duties.
Remember the red chocobo thing?
Yeah.
That is still the funniest thing. They nerfed it, right? You can't see it happen anymore.
Right.
That
No.
sucks.
I can't beat the red chocobo.
Let me tell you, I camped that spot after I beat it just to watch people while I was like
so
eating food
funny.
because it was so funny.
Yeah.
I didn't help them until I was done eating. But...
Oh.
Yeah, chat's bringing up what I was primarily thinking of. Not that a weapon would help these situations, but the RP instances. Those are the ones that really annoy some people.
Yeah.
They give you
They're fun.
6 skills, and you have all the time in the world to read them before.
Too
you
complicated.
There's gonna be people that are like, oh god, I need to get the relic so I can get through that MSQ RP fight.
No.
Yeah, it has a scaling thing where you can make it easy mode now as well.
Yeah, that's true.
If
Yeah,
you fail too
yes.
much.
Oh yeah.
I need to get a relic weapon so I can finish that RP sequence in
Oh,
very
no,
easy.
I think
God, we are like
Also,
the
what they're
worst,
saying
like
here-
old elitists, just fucking
We don't want
mustache
people to
twirling.
catch up.
Yeah,
seems to be that they want to make whatever the new exploratory venture is to be doable without having to do things like Delubrum Regine or the Dauriada or Castrum Lacus Litore.
hmm
Oh, it's
They're so
such a
easy and fun,
contradiction to
though.
like their
No, it's
old
too
ways.
difficult,
Like,
Rollo.
like they used to have the avenue of where you could do long grind in easy content or a few
Well-
harder things for a quicker grind.
Well, let's
They
all.
just change it
I
every
think we can agree that the way they solved the Bosnia, like alternate means of obtaining the relic, was not correct.
Was fantastic because it was
it-
so quick.
No,
It was
Mela,
great.
It was
They didn't have to
not.
do it.
Yeah,
do
you don't even have
Bosnia.
to do the Bosnia. God.
Yeah.
Well, the Bosnia side should have been the faster one.
No, I agree. But I don't mind that. If they'd done
And
it the
there
other way
should
around,
be-
I'd have done Bosnia.
There shouldn't have been one step that was entirely performed outside of Bosnia.
I
Yeah.
also agree with that.
Well, I mean, technically, some steps could be faster in Bosnia if you have enough people.
Yeah, but that was the problem, wasn't it? Like, most people don't have the people.
There's an entire
Well, also-
instance of people. Just
Also,
put it in
one
shop.
of Bosnia often required RNG, whereas doing them outside often did not.
Yeah, it had like guaranteed drops in normal fates, which was
yeah,
bizarre.
but they just did it the wrong way.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
agree.
They did.
But-
They did it the wrong way.
You know,
They didn't expect people to have their blue mages leveled like that. That was
Right.
just unforeseen consequences.
but
Yeah.
if they do it the other way and they say if you do
I'm
the
not-
new Bosnia and it's guaranteed you'll do it faster,
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah, I'm not
you know.
against. Like I said, I prefer the two-way system, but it should be promoting the new content, not encourage you to do the old shit. So yeah,
I think the outside content should be tuned higher,
Yeah.
but also made in such a way they can easily tune it lower once the content becomes irrelevant.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
luminous crystals for outside,
Right.
and then like a guaranteed drop inside. And then in 3 patches time, the luminous crystals are now guaranteed.
right.
It's not hard.
Yeah. Okay, so the devs will leverage their experience from previous relic weapon quests when creating future content. Do you plan to add another deep dungeon, such as Heaven on High or Palace of the Dead, into the expansion? Sadnor replaced it for a leveling system, but a lot of people, including myself, enjoyed the dungeon crawl style gameplay, and with World of Warcraft having a Torghast, has there been any inspiration from that also?
Excuse me, the what?
What?
Torghast.
The Torg? What? What?
Torghast was their copy where they made a really cool tower crawl thing. And then
It's the
on
one
release,
everyone.
butchered
Remember
it.
we talked about, Rollo, and we've covered it. It's like, oh, World of Warcraft is like stealing our deep dungeon system.
No, Rollo, it used to be so cool that you got like upgrades on each floor and could make like a build for that run of Torghast, and like it was super cool. And then they just cut all that, and made it
Oh.
rubbish,
Yeah.
Okay.
and then like turned women into fruit. Lizards.
We'll just leave that hanging. No explanation on that. All right.
I think we're equally confused here.
You don't know that?
They turned women into
No.
fruit.
They turned all the pictures of women into fruit
Yeah.
in World of Warcraft because
World of Warcraft is you.
it's going downhill quite heavily, guys. I don't know.
Oh, is it because of the stuff?
Yeah. Because
It's because of the
that was
stuff.
their solution, Rollo.
Turned all
Women
the
are
women
gone.
into fruit.
Fruits are in.
Yeah. Love this picture of fruit. Okay. Anyways, Yoshida's answer to this question is there will be no deep dungeon content for 6.0 because they are busy with other things in the expansion. But they do want to plan for some kind of content to be implemented within the 6.x series. It's too early to discuss now, but it is safe to assume to expect something down the line. That being said, for the 6.x plans, Yoshida would like to wait to talk to the players after the expansion launch with a live letter coming later. With deep dungeon content, we announced a break in the 5.x series, and we made that announcement. Yeah, you did. You did make that announcement. We had a lot of players that came back and said, "Oh, that's a shame. We liked the deep dungeon content, and we would like to respond to the players' thoughts on having one." So it feels
the exact opposite.
It kind of feels like the devs don't want to do deep dungeon, but the players kind of want it, which is weird.
I want it. I
want it.
Although Heaven on High
Yeah.
was a little bit of a miss for me, but
I mean, because all they did,
Yeah.
it was just there wasn't any big change. You got like the big empty Gmod room, and then you got
God,
the 3 palm enders with the primals. Yeah.
Yeah.
don't worry, chat. He's alluding to it. He does say it's safe to expect something down the line.
Yeah, he did allude to it, but
He's just not saying.
Did he say that when in that interview does he say expect this expansion?
6.x, he'd like to wait to talk about it more.
he says there will not be a deep dungeon in 6.0, so at launch
That's
there is
launch.
no deep dungeon.
Okay.
For the
Well, of course, it's 6.0.
For the
No, I know.
6.x plans, Yoshida would like to wait to talk to the players after the expansion launch. So, and then he says, we had a lot of players that came back after they announced no deep dungeon in the 5.x series, and they came back and said, oh, that's a shame, we liked the deep dungeon content, and we would like to respond to the players' thoughts on having one. That's
You know
what
what
he
they
says.
Might have.
You know what would be so fun? Like, genuinely? Bring back Deep Dungeon, all right? Maybe vary the map design, like, a little bit. Don't just want the hallways and the squares.
Yeah.
and not the empty room, too, because
It's
that just
nice
sucked.
and that's so modular. I don't want a big empty room.
It just looks jarring.
I would
But
like-
They
what
can
you
make
do
it
is,
even more modular with like an L-shaped block room.
Yeah?
yeah, it gets
They essentially have that, but they all fit within squares, Mailer.
Yeah. Okay, Rollo, go on.
All right, bring it back, right? Maybe keep some of the Pomanders or whatever. Keep the Magicite if you want to. Bring the Bosja
It's a bit
skills.
contradictory with Summoner now.
Yeah.
Don't worry
it's-
about that.
But bring like Bosja skills as drops you find. in the
Yeah.
dungeon. Like,
Lost action sort of things.
yeah, like lost actions, the like potions of skirmishers to do more damage, and like I mean you can't have as expansive as the lost
Right.
actions because it's a lot and
Yeah.
there's be a huge pool and you could just get a
Imagine-
really shitty build.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine if they tie the deep dungeon into the relic quest this time.
That'd be interesting.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Plunge
So,
the
like-
depths to get the weapon.
So like 0.2 adventuring foray, 0.3 deep dungeon, 0.4 whatever Delubrum Regine was.
Technically, they did that.
0.5
They did that with the
adventuring foray.
Bossia weapon. You could do Palace of the Dead for the relic.
Oh wow.
That
Did you
doesn't count.
really?
Yeah. If you wanted to like hate yourself a lot, you could.
Because it was not a guaranteed drop.
No.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good idea though, and make it like every 10 floors you beat, you
Yeah.
can pick from like 3 buffs
Yeah.
for
like
continuing.
because the lost actions are like such a cool thing, and
Mm-hmm.
they should put them in more places because you can do really fun combinations with them.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I would like that.
Oh yeah,
It'd
sorry.
be
It is
difficult on the first run though.
it's
'cause we've got
guaranteed after floor 100 of Palace of the Dead.
Easy to
There.
get to.
Yeah.
I think they should, if they do that, which I think they should do, include lost actions in the deep dungeon. There should also be a mode where you can't use them, such that it can have potentially the level of challenge that you get in like floors 150 to 200 of Palace of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, sure for the purist, why not?
For me, it's more about the variety of the levels, though. It gets so boring so quickly, and that kind of, I guess, that kind of adds to the difficulty because you become like, you get so bored, you just don't pay attention anymore. It's like, oh, it's this room again.
It's very samey,
Yeah,
but you can just do some like little things to change it up.
maybe have more modules. Just don't have like the 4 that you have for Palace of the Dead.
You know what you could put? You could just put like more intricate traps. You can put like the laser hallway from Dalradia.
Oh
in
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Like, I mean, it's just left and right.
yeah, yeah,
It's interesting.
yeah, yeah.
I think the biggest issue was like how long it took to beat one floor at the later stages. It was too much. Like floor 1 to 10 is so snappy,
Oh yeah.
and then floor 150 is like you're using up the full like 2 hours to just finish the
Yeah.
10 floors.
You get an hour in there.
Well, that's like those are like the challenge floors, because like the floors, I mean, like the story stuff is like
They can be
130,
challenging without taking
100.
an hour.
150 to 200 are not meant to be done over and over and over again. They're meant to
No, but
be
I
taken
didn't.
as a challenge.
They're ridiculous.
Yeah.
I still want to get the.
We've never even done them, Mailer.
We've got pretty far. How far did we get in our palettes run?
150. We've never done 150 through
Okay.
200.
No.
I really want to get that Necromancer title.
Oh, same.
Yeah.
I want to get the stupid pony too. Or
The
unicorn.
Knights Pegasus.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Dodo. I want the Dodo from Heaven on High.
Okay.
Buy it.
Ha.
That's the interviews. I just now realized that because we kind of changed the show notes for last week, so it doesn't remind us to do MogMail before the main story. So we forgot to do MogMail. So I'm just gonna force a MogMail in here. I'm gonna take number 4 by the way because it's short. All right, here we go.
You take that one.
MogMail. Okay, well, there's not going to be a visual for that, but this one's from Smorkles, from Mateus.
I know him.
Hello. Been meaning to send this question in for a while, but kept forgetting. The arena where you fight Construct 7 in the Ridorana Lighthouse is called the Cleft of Profaning Wind. Profaning Wind. And I feel compelled to ask for your expertise on this. Do you think that this name is a fart joke? Everyone possesses a cleft, and profane wind does pass through it, after all. Smorkles.
I believe it is. And I believe the Construct 7 is a metaphor for the calculation you need to do when passing said profane wind as to whether it's going to be all wind or not.
I mean, it's basically just saying the disrespectful fart.
Yeah. Well, it even had
Cut this bit out of the YouTube.
No.
If you were to, no, absolutely not. If you were to seek the origins of it, it does actually come from 12. It's not a name original to 14.
No, but still, is it a fart joke?
A fart
That's the
joke years in the making.
Did Woolhead put in a fart joke?
He would
You
do.
fight. So here's the thing: you fight Fenrir on this floor in the original game.
He farts.
He is a wolf.
Has he?
I don't know.
He's not actually. Not in 12. This is what he looks like in 12.
Oh yeah, in 12
Mailer.
he's like a.
Oh yeah, he's like a. Well, he's like Byakko,
Yeah,
but not
He's
as
like Byakko.
handsome.
yeah.
No, he's not handsome.
Not
But
as
maybe that's what
insanely
he's-
handsome.
He's like wind-based Byakko, so he produces the profane winds.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah, from
Is
his
it
cleft.
From his cleft? is it?
Exactly.
Well, there
Yeah,
we
why
go.
they-
Unfortunately, he doesn't exist. Construct 7 killed him.
Construct 7 killed him because.
Construct 7 killed him because of his profane winds.
There you go. He silenced the cleft.
The teacher heard you
He
fart in
shut
class,
that
killed
cleft
you.
right up. Slapped the cleft. All right. That's it, everyone. Cleft is a funny word. We'll be back. Thanks for watching, everyone. God, I'll do it again. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll be back next week. Same time, same place. Remember to follow on Twitter at SpeakersXIV, twitch.tv/SpeakersOfIdle, and youtube.com/SpeakersXIV, exclamation Discord in chat. If you want to join our Discord server, if you're watching on demand, link is in the description. Send us MogMail, speakersxiv.com/MogMail. Stay tuned if you're watching live for the post-show. We'll be reading questions from the syndicate. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I have to actually press the button. Bye.